Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning Five here on Friday, April 1st, 2022. I am Dave Biddle. I'm very happy to be joined by Brian Schottenstein and Cardale Jones. We're going to talk about their new venture, The Foundation, name, image, and likeness foundation that they have set up. The website is live, thefoundationohio.com. Before we get to that, let's get to something really important. Cardale, do you recognize this shirt by any chance that I'm wearing?
A little bit of that 12 gauge.
I can't hear you too well, but I know the 12 gauge buckshot. You wore this to your press conference when you announced you were coming back to Ohio State, which I still think is one of the most boss moves of all time. I had to get this shirt, and you can see how faded it is because I've worn it so many times. But had to wear this shirt. We're having you on the show today. All right, gents, let's get to it. I think you guys have made it very easy. I mean, the website is really good. My first question was going to be how can people donate? Is it through Venmo? No, they can just get right on thefoundationohio.com and make a donation there. And, fans can make a donation. You don't have to be a big-time booster. It'd be nice if you're a big-time booster. But, Brian, we'll start with you. Talk more about how fans can donate and boosters.
Like you said, it's really simple. You just go to thefoundationohio.com. And you can make a donation. It's all through PayPal. It's up live now, and it can be anybody, boosters, alumni, fans. We really appreciate all of your support, and it goes directly to the student athletes.
Well, everybody loves what you guys are doing. Now, I mean, for those that don't know, explain to the fans out there the main focal point of what you guys are doing, the kind of your main goals, just what you guys are trying to accomplish.
Well, what we're trying to accomplish is really supporting the Ohio State student athletes, and we're starting off with football and basketball, and then in return they're going to give back to the local charities that we've teamed up with. We really want this to be the largest NIL fund in the country, and we believe we can get there with all the fan support and our hard work, and we're really excited about it.
Cardale, I mean, how much do you wish NIL was a thing when you were playing at Ohio State? My goodness.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because of that shirt you got on right now, it came about when I was pretty much at my height at Ohio State. And that would have been one thing I could have profited from or have to get advantage of with NIL.
I'm having a little trouble hearing you, Cardale. If you could get closer to the mic, that would be great. If you could just repeat what you said there, if you don't mind, and maybe get a little closer to the mic.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. I was saying NIL would have been great when I was around because the shirt you got on right now would have been one of the things I've never taken advantage of. Would my name, image, and likeness definitely being at the height of my career to win a national championship at Ohio State. So it wasn't, but it's here now, and I'm happy to do something about it.
Still a little hard to hear you, but hopefully you can get a little closer to the mic. But if not, we'll make it work. Brian, a question I get a lot, is this just for current players, or can you guys help with recruits too? Because we know what's going on with Texas and Texas A&M and other programs with recruits. Is this just for current players, or can you guys help with recruiting too?
Well, indirectly, we can help with recruiting. We can't actually make an official deal with the recruit, but we can talk to them about the foundation and the work that we've done with the current student athletes, and then hope that when they see this in place, it could make them want to come to Ohio State over another school.
Now, I've been calling this the Wild West. I think everybody's been calling this the Wild West. Is that an accurate depiction? Are there any regulations out there right now, or is this really just the Wild West?
I think the basic rules and regulations, as long as a player is not involved in any gambling, marijuana, or things like that, I think they can be involved with anything else other than the few things that the NCAA and the legislature have banned from being participants for student athletes.
I apologize. We can't hear you, Cardale. Maybe it's an issue on our end. I apologize that we can't hear you, Cardale. Brian, do you mind answering that question? Are there any? Would you describe it as? I know there are certain things they can't do. I could hear a little bit of what Cardale was saying. You can't be into marijuana, alcohol, adult, certain adult things. But are there any other than that? Are there any regulations out there? Or is this pretty much the Wild West?
Well, we're going to really follow everything to the T and do everything above board. As far as that's concerned, we're going to make sure that we're following all the NCAA guidelines and the state guidelines as well. But we do hope this indirectly will help recruiting and also could help with the transfer portal as well. Keeping players at Ohio State, all of our deals will be long term, 3-4 year deals, make them want to stay at Ohio State and maybe attract students from other schools to come to Ohio State.
To use a current example, Brian, let's say now Malachi Branham's projected, like some people have him as a lottery pick, so it might not even matter. But let's say Malachi Branham or maybe, somebody else that you're trying to, Buckeye fans really want to see return for another year and they might be torn. How could you help a guy like, Malachi Branham come back to Ohio State for another year?
Well, we would sit down with someone like him and see if we can make a deal work. Like you said, he's going to be a lottery pick possibly, so that's a lot of money. But let's say it was a player that might be a second round or third round pick in the NFL. We might be able to make a deal with them where they could come back another year and still make some good money and not rush off to the professional NFL or NBA. So that definitely can help. Also, we can help support, maybe students, athletes that don't play as much, like an incoming freshman who's a great star and he's doing well in the classroom and off the field, but maybe he's not getting as many snaps. We can support those athletes as well. So that's exciting. And again, all the donations are tax deductible, so it's like giving to a charity. So it's much better than like a business giving directly to the student athlete. They can go through our foundation and get a total tax deduction.
I'm glad you brought that up about the tax deduction. We did have a question from a listener asking, are there any rewards for donating a la Kickstarter?
So we might do like giveaways where we can't announce this special item that we're going to make that Cardale is going to be involved with, and we're going to do a giveaway for that. We're going to make this fun. We want this to be interactive for the fans. We're going to have events. We're going to have autograph signings and just maybe tailgate parties, and we want to make this interactive and fun for all of the fans to be involved.
We're going to talk some more NIL stuff, but I do want to get one more question for Cardale. Hopefully we can hear him. Cardale, we've had some people ask, you're out there showing your cannon off, your 12 gauge, I should say, at Pro Day. Have you gotten any talk from NFL scouts or even some of the other pro leagues after you're showing at Pro Day?
Yeah. First and foremost, can you hear me better?
Yeah, I can. Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. I had to change the directions around the desk a little, but yeah, Pro Day was great. Definitely was thankful for Ohio State and Ryan Day and Coach Mick for allowing me to be there and perform in front of the NFL teams and scouts, and spoke to a few teams afterwards and still in contact with a few teams on the NFL level, and like I said in the interview afterwards, my focus right now is the NIL world and how I can help these guys and still, staying in shape and ready for football if they come back calling. But, if not, my focus is definitely on the NIL world when it comes to the foundation, how we can help the students at the Ohio State University.
I was a big DC Defenders fan there for a couple of months when you were the quarterback there. I know the ratings were off the chart in Columbus. It's hilarious. I want to go back and ask you, now that we can hear you, I want to go back and ask, how much do you wish NIL existed when you were at Ohio State? Because things like this shirt and just anything else, I mean, you would have made a lot of money while you're at Ohio State, Cardale.
I would like to think so. Definitely wish it was around when I was in school because you saw things like that. So, for example, I don't remember which company that shirt is from, but they were allowed to take advantage of our name, image, and likeness and profit from it. I even bought one myself. And, I didn't see any benefits from that. With them using, not just myself, but other teammates, name, image, and likeness at the time to profit. Didn't think that was fair, but hey, this is the world we live in now, and I'm glad NIL is around. And like I said before, my goal here now is to help these guys take advantage of their NIL and put some money in their pockets and change their financial futures.
Last time I had you guys on the show, Brian and Cardale, called you guys the two-man dream team. Man, you guys, your board is extremely impressive. You keep adding heavy hitter after heavy hitter. You got Urban Meyer on there. This is for both of you. Cardale, you can go first if you want. Just talk about some of the board members and what they can add. Is their role fundraising? Does everybody kind of have a different role? Just what do you talk about some of the board members and what they can do to help this venture?
I mean, wow. I mean, thinking about the people on our board now, and me and Brian actually just got off a call with a few new potential board members here in the near future that's going to continue to help us, and we all have the same goal. And everyone on the board, I would imagine their role is going to be all of the above. When it comes to fundraising, when it comes to spreading awareness, when it comes to doing everything in their power to help the student athletes at Ohio State, because we all have the same goal and vision. It wasn't like, hey, can we use your name for this and slap it on there and hope it works? No, they're all going to be heavily involved as much as they can, respectively, due to their, schedules and daytime jobs. But the number one thing for us and our board, we all have the same vision and goal for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, Brian, go ahead.
We're going to be announcing some other big time current, NFL players and possibly NBA. And like Cardale said, Urban Meyer's not just going to be a name. He's going to be involved on fundraising and helping out as much as he can, putting us in contact with different people. We're going to have many events. We have board members that want to help with programming. So there's just so many different ways that the board can contribute.
You kind of just touched on this one, Brian. We have a question from a listener. Like, what are some of the things you have coming down the pipeline? You kind of mentioned that. What are some other things maybe you have coming down the pipeline?
We're going to do a launch party probably right after the spring game. So we're excited about that. And then we'll be planning, events and charitable outings throughout the year, whether it's tailgates or golf outings or whatnot. We're still working on our schedule for the year.
I just want to remind everybody the website, thefoundationohio.com, thefoundationohio.com. They've made it very easy. You can get on there and donate. A few more questions. We'll get you guys out of here. We had somebody ask, is there a cap on how much a kid can receive? And if so, who determines that amount? Is there a cap, Cardale or Brian?
There's no cap really, but it just has to be a fair market, deal. And we're going to try to spread out our funds as many players as we can.
Yeah, I don't think when you think of a cap, I don't think it's a cap for it because you still players definitely are different players are definitely worth different amount when it comes to this NIL world. But all of that will be discussed in-house through our board and our advisories of how much we should pay a player, and like Brian said earlier, how long will the deal be and things like that. And it's not going to be, hey, you see a player get, let's just use easy numbers. We're saying $200,000 deal or I guess a contract. And it's not going to be like, hey, we gave a player $200,000 as soon as he signed a contract. We're going to divide it up over a long period of time and per appearance that per event that the player has to do. So I almost view it almost just like NFL contracts are, that you get paid per week or per appearance or per game. And like I said, all of that will be discussed in-house throughout the board and how we go about, the payments and the criteria of how we identify the student athletes.
I'm not going to throw Quinn Ewers under the bus. Hey, kid got his money. Good for him. We live in a capitalistic society. Good for Quinn Ewers. I have no hate for him at all. My question for you guys, do you think that was a cautionary tale maybe for not necessarily you guys, but like some other businesses that are trying to do NIL deals that maybe, like you're saying, Brian, and Cardale, you want to do long-term deals. You don't want to do a one-year deal and maybe the kid transfers after a year. Just your thoughts on the whole Quinn Ewers ordeal and maybe how that has affected how businesses look at this.
Well, I don't know the whole logistics behind his deal and what it was worth and if it tied him into anything being at Ohio State. But, our deals are going to be pretty simple. For example, we had a 3-year deal with a student athlete, 1 appearance per year, and it was worth, like I said before, let's say $75,000. And after 3 years, that, each appearance is worth $25,000. Well, we get into the 3rd year and that athlete decides to transfer. He technically voided his 3rd appearance, right? Because this is for the benefit of the student athletes of Ohio State. So if say, for example, that student had a appearance in June and he transferred in February, well, he voided his June appearance and his last third of his deal during his 3rd year. So we want to do deals like that to hopefully encourage a guy to stay. But at the end of the day, these athletes are going to make the best decisions for their careers and their futures.
The Travion Henderson story is really cool. Like he he was telling me when I asked him, that he didn't grow up dirt poor or anything, but he grew up kind of poor, sharing a bedroom with, with two of his brothers. His mom was working 2 jobs. Now he's able to provide for his mother through NIL. That is such a cool story. Brian, your thoughts on that? That's such a cool story with Travion.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be so many great stories that come out of this, and this is way bigger than football or basketball. I mean, the players being able to support their families and also giving back to the community and supporting, underprivileged kids and kids that are in need, and they look up to these student athletes as their hero, and their hero, like Travion or CJ or any of them, coming and being with them for the day really will put a smile on their face and make it really worth our time for sure. We're really excited about that.
We'll get you guys out of here on this. We'll start with Cardale. I'm going to go to Brian. Just anything that I left out that you would like to say? Cardale, we'll start with you.
No, not really. We just want to emphasize that our site is live now, and people can go to thefoundationohio.com to donate and just continue to watch our social media feeds and on the site about upcoming events here in the near future and how we're going to get our fans involved and get behind the student athletes of Ohio State, and definitely go Bucks.
Brian, anything I left out? Anything you would like to add?
No, I appreciate, Dave, everything you've done and being behind this from the beginning. It's nice that it's finally a reality, and I don't think anybody could ever get a 501c3 as quick as we did and got our site up live and ready to go. And just all the fan support, please share, retweet, post, anything you can do, because we want to beat out all the other schools and make this a really meaningful, fun, and foundation and movement.
Again, I have the website right there on the screen, everybody. thefoundationohio.com, thefoundationohio.com. For those that are just listening on the podcast, thefoundationohio.com. You can get on there. It's very easy, as we talked about, to donate. And you can check out their all-star cast of board members. And it's a really cool website. So get on there and check it out, Buckeye fans. Cardale and Brian, thank you so much. I know I speak for all of Buckeye Nation that thank you for what you guys are doing. Like, you guys have really taken the bull by the horns here. Buckeyes need it. You got to stay up with the arms race in college football, and you guys are doing great things. So thank you so much for what you are doing, and thank you for joining me on the show this morning.
Thanks, Dave. Go Bucks.
Go Bucks is right. Glad we were able to hear Cardale's voice. Glad that worked out. Thanks again, guys. Really appreciate it. And thanks to all the listeners out there. Hope everyone has a great day.